right, hello and welcome everyone. We are here for the global final of the Tiger Global Case Competition 2020. Wow, it has been such a ride. Just to backtrack and recap a little bit, registrations opened on August 1st, closed on August 31st. This was the first time we've taken the Tiger Global Case Competition global and virtual. We had over 2,500 registrations worldwide across 6 regions globally. Now, over 600 teams came together to work to crack the regional TGCC case, which was the ACSL Japanese drone case. Now, out of the 6 regions, the top 10 teams in each region were invited to present to a panel of live judges. Now, of those 10 finalists, the top 2 have been invited to come back for the global final. So we have a treat in store for us today, guys. So these students, we have the top 2 teams with us live today from Australia, New Zealand, from the Eastern and Central Asia and Russia region, as well as the South-Southeast region. Or sorry, South-Southeast Asia. So I'd like to introduce our judges really quickly. We are so lucky to have them with us here today. So Jamie Beaton, we have here with us. He is located right now in Auckland. So Jamie is the founder of Crimson Education and is also the CEO. Now, you've probably seen Jamie a couple of times around the competition. He's been super involved. You know, at Crimson, we really believe in giving students the opportunity to exercise the skills they learn in the classroom in a practical manner. And Jamie is always willing to jump in and really help to make it an exceptional experience for everyone involved. Jamie graduated from Harvard as well as from Stanford and is currently a student and a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford University. So we are super lucky to have Jamie with us here today. Welcome, Jamie. All right, next we have Jasmine Kurd. Jasmine is located in Melbourne, Australia. She is a managing director at PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers Australia, which, as you know, PricewaterhouseCoopers is the official sponsor of the Tiger Global Case Competition. So it's fantastic to have her here with us today. Super lucky. Jasmine has over 20 years of international business experience across strategy, business development, marketing, sales, and cooperation management. So she will definitely be looking at all aspects of these projects today, guys. All right, so last but definitely not least, Vikas Prashad. You would have seen him around the competition as well. So we were lucky enough to have Vikas as one of our regional judges for the South-Southeast Asia region. Vikas is a portfolio manager at M&G Investments. Vikas studied at Harvard University, spent his summers at Oxford University, and now he lives in Singapore, originally from America. So we have such an amazing panel with us today, guys. And just to introduce our other team of judges, so today, these 3 regions are going to present live to Jamie, Vikas, and Jasmine. And then what's going to happen is after today, I'm going to take these live recordings and I'm going to send them to our other panel of judges, who are Sachin Patel, who is in San Francisco. He's currently gone back to Stanford University for his MBA and was most recently an investor at Y Combinator, and before that, an engagement manager at McKinsey & Company. You would have also seen Sachin in our Pathways to PwC, McKinsey, and other top consulting firms. We have Janine Manning, who is located in the UK. She's a chartered accountant, MBA graduate, an angel investor. She's also a director at Crimson Education. Wow, how she has time for all that, who even knows? Amazing. We have Apurv Agrawal, who is also in San Francisco. So Apurv is an investor at SoftBank and also a graduate of Stanford Business School. So as you can see, guys, we have a top in-class panel of judges to assess all of our presentations today, and then as well for our second region, which that region is North America, Central and South America, and the EMEA region. So that round is going to take place in about 12 hours. All right, guys, without further ado, let's let this first team in. Enough about me. All right. Oh, the presentation has a mind of its own. Let's go back. Let me see. All right, TGCC, I'm going to hand the control back over to you. All right, let's let Luke, Richard, and Patrick in. Oh, slides, what are they doing? Can we go back? There we go. All right, TGCC, are we letting the, let's see, we've got Luke. Oh, and there we go. We got Patrick. I see you guys. All right, there we go. Hello, welcome. Are we all here? I see Luke's joining, Patrick, Richard. Amazing, guys. All right. Welcome. Welcome to the global final, team 1. All right, we've got Luke, Patrick, and Richard, team number 337. All right, guys. So remember to take yourselves off mute before the timing starts. You have 10 minutes for your presentation, and then you have 7 minutes for your questions and answers. Now, in the chat box, I will give you a 2-minute warning when you have 2 minutes left for your presentation, and I'll give you a 30-second warning when you have 30 seconds left. The same for your question and answers. All right, guys? And I will cut you off at 10 minutes, and I will cut you off at 7 minutes. Just giving you the heads up. All right? All right. And we will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Luke, the business analyst from Constrained Optimization Consulting, and with Patrick, our markets analyst, and Richard, our financial analyst, I'm excited to answer Sony's core question: how to monetize the PS5 and create socially sustainable digital architecture to tackle the 21st century gaming environment. Our solution is to use Sony Dream, a pioneering immersive gaming platform, to maximize the profitability of the PS5 and spearhead subscription-based gaming. The important takeaway for you is that this achieves mean operating gross profit of almost twice the industry average after 10 years, and an increase in subscription conversion rate from 17% to 55% by 2029. But enough playing games, let's move to the next slide. Our solution of, the next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. Our solution of creating a socially integrated platform was handpicked in the slide before. I think we moved to the next slide twice, but it's all good. Then slide before, please. Yeah, thank you very much. Our solution, so you've moved to the next slide twice. Could we please move forward one? I think there's a lag. Fantastic. Okay. Our solution of creating socially integrated gaming platform was handpicked in response to Sony's 2 biggest problems. First, your product life cycles are not evolving, and this cuts deeper than the reduction in console sales by 25%. If you look on the left, we've noticed that PlayStation products have identical life cycles following a polynomial trend despite being marketed as large improvements. This indicates that a solution needs to look for more paradigmatic shifts in digital infrastructure to grow usership, such that the PS5 and future models don't also stagnate. Likewise, sales peaking after 4 years, which is double that of Xbox, shows us that we need to maximize marketing through more nodes and have shorter product cycles. Secondly, this underutilization graph on the right shows an over-reliance on new PS models to drive digital software sales, since PS music and video are not being leveraged. This, alongside a rapidly declining return on equity that you can see below, shows the need to change our strategy with third-party developers and convert unrealized IS&S core imaging into investment into the future. Next slide. Since the release of the PS5 will incur a large foreign revenue that Patrick will discuss, we noted from an SEC report that your gaming division is significantly underhedged. We proposed the Forex mitigation structure on the top left, so a combination of futures, options, and M&As, which after costing discussions with an executive at NAB Bank, backtested to result in an average Forex impact reduction of over 120 million US dollars and 400 million in 2015. The importance of this bottleneck is that the yen is forecasted to appreciate due to interest rate increases, which would force you to make a Sophie's choice decision between price competition and profit in Asia in particular. Also, even if these losses are themselves negligible, we performed a factor regression that showed that the yen has far greater impact on investors' perception of Sony than its Japanese peers, as you can see in the table there. So the multiplicative impact on enterprise value could inhibit user growth and attractiveness to third-party devs. With these problems in mind, we compared a variety of solutions as seen here. We rejected immediate in-house reinvestment into cloud and thereby abandoning the Microsoft Azure project because it was naive short-term reaction to the 99% growth rate of cloud gaming, whose infeasible CapEx jeopardizes the cash-neutral strategy that you can see in the bottom table here. That enables the expansion of your games library advantage. And it's unlikely to match Microsoft's 60+ servers. Instead, it's better to accelerate existing cloud joint ventures and focus on solving problem 2 by integrating Sony Music and Sony Video. Similarly, focusing on PS Vita marketing was unresponsive to the lifecycle devolution problem, so expanding into esports to capitalize on social gaming trends in Asia, complemented by a price discriminating subscription model to an immersive gaming platform was the best solution. Also, COMS imagery as bait for third-party developers was a clear solution to decreasing return on equity, which when combined with ESG investment gives Sony the ultimate socially sustainable platform that Patrick's going to explain now. Next slide.
Thanks, Luke. So those are Luke's solutions and the risks we all considered put there. For the ones inside the circles are the ones he just discussed. Now, if we can move to the next slide, we'll talk about our proposal, the Sony Dream proposal. So we're now going to move to our proposal for significantly expanding Sony's customer base and resolving problems 1 and 2. First, games are increasingly trending towards playing in a more social way. Still on the next slide, I believe. As evidenced by the increased prevalence in social gaming during COVID. You will address this demand by creating the first true social media platform for gamers as part of the Sony Cloud package, exclusively for PlayStation users, where they'll have profiles, followers, and the ability to connect with celebrity gamers in a gaming atmosphere. And this will integrate with streaming and comm services, particularly Discord, which will hold a significant advantage over Xbox, which has a lot of lag on Discord because it has failed to partner. Second, further to social connection, we propose breaking into the rapidly growing market for video and music streaming by vertically integrating our existing libraries in Sony Music and Media to be available to PS users on a subscription basis from their PlayStation or from any device, putting Sony on par with Netflix and Amazon. However, this is not a simple process as it might seem. It will not be possible without partnering with Spotify to place their libraries on Sony Cloud platform, as existing contracts preclude us from using our library without also giving Spotify the same advantage in market share. Third, in line with Sony's corporate mission, we propose to partner with Ecosia, which plants trees with online advertising revenue to offset your carbon footprint. And we project that these increased capabilities will have, as you can see on the graph to the right, an exposure to 1.2 billion people who use those individual services, which we are going to integrate all together into a 21st century gaming and entertainment experience, which will be an industry first. So on the next slide, enough fun and games. We propose monetizing this solution with a tripartite method that we call Sony Dream. First, in an industry-first move, we propose following the existing trend of subscriptions for video on demand by transitioning to an 18,000 yen yearly subscription rather than game-by-game sale. Second, maintaining Sony's behavioural patterns of keeping competitors off balance with strategic maneuvers, we propose securing early releases on many popular games. We did the modelling on this with FIFA and discovered that we would have had 2 million more consumers who would have bought FIFA if we performed that. Third, we propose investing in immersion game technology, specifically AR and VR, in order to secure a competitive advantage into the future. And on the next slide, we're offering different rollout strategies for Sony Dream subscription in different parts of the world, particularly in the Asian market, which is projected to double by 2025. And by sponsoring popular Asian events such as Riot Games' League of Legends series and partnering with popular Asian social networks, we aim to have a rollout for an average of 18,000 yen for subscriptions across the world. So now what I'm going to do is hand over to Richard, our financial analyst, on the next slide.
Thanks, Patrick. Next slide, please. The big picture driving our innovation strategy for Sony is for Sony to lead the century of immersive entertainment. In 2021, we consolidate the PS5 rollout as the core mechanism to onboard network subs. We want to exponentiate our network by acquiring minority stakes in Spotify, Discord, partnering with Twitch and Douyu to create immersive native applications for PlayStation, enhancing user experience. Our third goal is cloud perfection to complement console hardware, working on seamless multi-device cloud streaming compatibility and getting that scalable stream quality from 720p to 5K based on internet speed to provide streaming accessibility in all markets. On the Forex side, we also do want to implement that volatility minimizing hedging plan. Come 2022, we launched the Sony Dream, packaging music, video, gaming, social under one seamless platform. And we also embark on the game creation plan with a focus on in-house collabs with third-party developers, making use of synergies across image sensing and music horizontals for exclusivity, prioritizing hardcore MMG and casual social for console gaming. 2023, as part of shorter product cycles, we launched the PS6 with AMD Zen 5 microarchitecture, representing a 100-fold improvement in decompression, coherency mapping, load management, the leading console in the market. We also want to begin our expansion in growth markets that year with aggressive marketing spend in India, in China, and other growth regions, with promotion via live PS esports events geared towards competitive esports and social casual gamers. From there onwards, 3 core tenets to our strategy. First, unifying game, music, film, social under the one Sony Dream umbrella. Second, complementing the Sony Dream with robust, best-of-breed console hardware. And third, making incremental improvements to cloud with industry edge through network effects and extensive superior content library. Next slide, please. So we identify 3 risks. Of these, the largest risk is non-achievement of exclusivity with third-party developers. So why do third-party developers want exclusivity? For a lot of these startups, multi-platform development is prohibitively expensive. It requires much more complicated DevOps. There are 2 ways that Sony Dream uniquely mitigates this risk. First, currently, the PlayStation is 110 million network subs over Xbox's 40 million. With Sony Dream, that network grows to 263 million users by 2029, the network effects becoming exponential by Metcalfe's law, so the Sony Dream will have far more prestige and size than Google Stadia, Amazon Luna, Microsoft Xbox, or Microsoft xCloud. Okay. Second reason, with social and streaming partnerships, Sony Dream becomes the biggest hype because people only play on the same platform as their friends, and people only play what their friends play on that platform. So with this best-of-breed network, Sony Dream is by far the most attractive exclusive partner. Next slide, please. Financials. In short, we project a net present value of 8.9 trillion yen under the blue sky scenario, which is significantly higher than the status quo net present value of 4.1 trillion yen for Sony Gaming Network Services division. This would represent value accretion of around 4 trillion yen, nearly 50% of Sony's current market cap, with 49 million PS5 installed bases in 3 years, providing 26.4 million subscriber additions, representing 480 billion yen of annual recurring revenue. With this, the Sony Dream can become the human dream. Thank you.
Very good, perfect timing. And with 30 seconds to spare, we actually, I had given you an extra 30 seconds for that little debacle at the beginning with the slides back and forth, but you guys stopped right on the money, not a second over 10 minutes. Very well done, guys. All right, don't worry, that's not gonna cut into your question and answer time. All right, so your question and answer time. So we'll have Vikas, Jasmine, and Jamie, as you have a question for the team. Just raise your hand and I will call on you. So we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who has the first question for the team? Jamie Beaton.
Oh, first question, guys. So you mentioned taking this 10% stake in companies, including Discord and Spotify. I was wondering why you need to take that stake as opposed to making a strategic contract relationship without actually investing equity capital.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Could we please pass to Patrick to answer this question and move to slide 5? Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. So one of the problems here is that some of the contracts we have with Spotify mean that we are unable, unless we purchase equity and contribute to Spotify, to create to mobilize our libraries in the way we've described them in order to make them available to more consumers, given that Spotify has exclusive contracts on some of them. So consequently, in order to activate some of those break clauses and to deactivate some of those contracts, we have to buy equity and contribute to Spotify.
Additionally, I would add, and I'm going to pass to Richard very, very quickly after this, it's important to note that 27% of people who heard in-game music then went on to buy that game. So there's the synergy that exists here with Spotify such that if there were equity held, we could also profit from that. I'm going to pass very quickly to Richard to explain why equity was a solution as well.
Right, so in taking this stake, we make a very deliberate decision, not only with respect to our gaming segment, but also to vertically integrate our music segment. Sony Universal Entertainment is, after all, Spotify's biggest supplier. So in the same way that Apple took a minor stake in Corning Glass in 2014, we would want to do this with Spotify. From the perspective of valuations and stuff, sure, the stock market is pretty frothy right now, but if we actually look at Spotify's EV to sales ratio, it's actually pretty cheap relative to its other unicorn peers. We also know that we also note that Spotify is one of the rare companies in that segment which actually generates positive free cash flow, and it's also 15% below its 52-week high. So that actually represents quite an quite a valuable entry into Spotify.
Brilliant, thank you. Passing over to the other judges.
You mentioned that esports, I mean, you have a figure of 18.3% here, but how should Sony leverage the esports gaming platform? Can you explain that a bit more?
Excellent. So we have a twofold solution here. I'm going to explain the first part, which is in particular connecting to ESG investment to create a form of communal identity around esports. So we want to use the fact that there has been growth in China to have, for instance, charity sports, which can create a sense of community on the Sony Dream platform, because with connections with Discord that reduce minimize lag, which you have on Xbox, we're able to get more people onto our platforms by financing these charity esports in connection with Ecosia as well. But now I'm going to pass to Patrick to explain the second part of this.
Thank you. So if we could please move to appendix slide, that would be slide number 17 of the whole deck. My apologies, slide number 21. So just before we get there, the problem, what's happening here is that the vast majority of the esports gaming market is in China. And the great thing is that because of the ban on consoles in 2015 in China, what we now have is a rapidly growing market that we have a first to market advantage in, or will be able to if we can get in there. So consequently, we propose sponsorships and getting into this and getting into the market through esports. So I believe it's the slide continuing on. So what's happening here is that we hope to aggregate many of these users, particularly in PC gaming, such that what we'll be able to do is convert many of those users or have them use PC games as well as our PlayStation through using esports, because we already know that they're gamers because they're already invested in esports. So consequently, this is the best marketing method for getting towards gamers who could be easily converted to consoles, and also creating a console culture through Sony Cloud and the integrated social media experience.
I had a quick question. First, just a comment on Spotify. I'd love to hear the company's feedback on that, because 2 years ago Sony actually did own a very large stake in Spotify, and they sold it, a big chunk of it. So maybe that was a mistake. Question was on the pricing of the 18,000 yen. I'm curious, how did you come up with that? Do you feel that gamers will feel that there's good value there while you are also making a sustainable profit?
Yeah, thanks. We'll pass both of those on to Richard. Thank you.
Sure, thanks. So we're looking at an 18,000 yen annual blended average selling price across a different variety of markets. In the same way that Netflix adjusts its pricing based on different markets, we plan to do the same. That works out at roughly 15 USD per month. On average. So if we compare that to currently what the cost is, that's around 7 USD. We get to that over a 10-year period by having grandfathering provisions for existing PlayStation Plus subscribers. And with regards to Spotify, we are aware that Sony did take a 0.84%, quite a small stake in Spotify, and subsequently dumped that stake. But we think now the market is changing. There's definitely a much more consolidation in the gaming market. Consoles are starting to see slower growth, so we need to find a way to utilize and harness that 120 million subscriber network effects for the PlayStation, which is why we want to get that interest back into Spotify.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very thorough.
Awesome.
Any more questions?
Great. Yeah, great answers, guys. We've got about 50 seconds left if anybody has any questions, or if you guys wanted to make any closing remarks.
For your DCF, how did you determine what WACC to use, or weighted average cost of capital in the model?
Great question.
Excellent.
I think there's a bit of lag here. If we could go to slide 25, please. It's the last slide. Sure, okay. So our cost of equity works out at around 9.69%. We used Aswith Damodaran's, he's a professor at NYU Stern. We used his valuation method to get that intrinsic value calculation. We assume a risk-free rate of 1.57% based on 30-year Treasury bonds, an implied default spread of 0.83% for Japan because of their A1 sovereign credit rating. On top of that, we add a 6.26% equity risk premium and a 1.03% international risk risk premium, which works out as a like pretty good average of all of the different country exposures which Sony Gaming has.
All right, guys, awesome. That's it. We gave you an extra 20 seconds again, just as we went to look for the slides. So hopefully you guys don't feel like you got cut short. We gave it back to you. All dealing with the, the technical intricacies of Zoom meetings and taking everything online. So thanks for your patience, guys. Amazing job. All right, so we are announcing the winners live on Tuesday night. So yeah, as I meant, so these recordings are going to be sent to the other set of judges and vice versa. So you have all 6 judges that are going to evaluate your presentation and your solution. So not that instant gratification that we had at the regional round, but sit tight for another couple days and we'll send out an announcement as far as how you can access that and be a part of the live announcement. All right, guys?
Good luck. Well done.
Thanks very much. We've absolutely loved it.
Well done. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, team. See you.
Do we do our scores now, Kerry?
Yep. Go ahead and do your markings. Got about 3 minutes. We'll be on time. Take your time as soon as you guys are ready. Hello, Thomas, Stephanie, and Tharushi. How are you guys?
Good, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Fantastic. The judges are just doing their scores from the previous team, so we'll give them a couple minutes. How are you guys doing? Are you excited?
Tired, but very excited.
Yeah, the adrenaline will push you through. You will learn that. That's amazing. All right, so just some housekeeping while we're getting ready. So just as the regional round, so I will give you a notice when you have 2 minutes left and 30 seconds left for your presentation. So watch the chat box. You have 10 minutes for your presentation and 7 minutes for the question and answer session. Make sure that you're not on mute when you begin to talk. As you know, just say next slide for us to go to the next slide. And let's see. And if there is, so if a judge has a question and one of the answers is in the appendix, we can help navigate back and forth. Kind of bear with us, guys. We're going to have a limit on the appendix next time, but lots of appendix slides, and there's a bit of a lag sometimes on the sharing of the screen. So you guys can just bear with us on that. We'll all get there in the end, I promise. So great. We've got Jamie, Vikas, and Jasmine here for your live judges. And then the presentations will be sent to another panel of judges in Region 2. And then we will announce the winners on Tuesday. So, all right, without further ado, TGCC, are we ready? I think we're ready. All right, guys, let's go. And judges, are we ready?
Ready.
Good to go. Good to
Ready to
go.
go.
Yep. All right, let's do this. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck.
So all around the world, people connect to play video games. But what if we can revolutionize what gaming is so that people play to connect with others? I'm Tharushi, and along with my teammates Stephanie and Thomas, we will propose a strategy that Sony can implement to achieve this goal. Next slide, please.
When it comes to Sony's future, there are 3 key questions. Firstly, how should Sony act in the next 5 to 10 years? And what are the key considerations for continued long-term growth? And how can Sony generate sustainable social value? On top of this, Sony has to deal with shrinking revenue, growing competition in the console market, and a fragmented and unpredictable industry. The key way to address all of this is marketing the upcoming PS5 as a console for the existing user base, but also developing a new PS5 Lite, which I will explain next. In the long term, Sony should explore new technology and create a strong sense of community through promoting social gaming. The impacts of this are clear. At the peak of the product cycle, which we predict to be about FY27, Sony will have a $9.4 billion USD operational profit, with $3.4 billion made up of the G and NS sector, $12.3 billion from the G and NS overall between financial year 20 and financial year 27, and over $132 billion in total company revenue by 2027. Next slide, please. Under the guiding aim of making gaming synonymous with Sony and the PlayStation series, this strategy has a short and mid to long-term components. In the short term, as the PS5 releases next month, Sony should market it as a premium product towards current console users with an early adoption, high profit margin strategy. At the crux of the short-term strategy, Sony should release a PS5 Lite in the financial year of 23, with 40% less processing power, but significantly cheaper, promoting it especially towards new customers and emerging markets. Emerging markets have a lot of potential, and by releasing the PS5 Lite at $300 US, Sony adopts a mass market, lower margin approach, reversing the approach of the PS4 and PS4 Pro. The key to ensuring Sony's strength is targeting new customers, and a large market share opens possibilities for ways forward and increasing Sony's leverage in negotiations with developers. In regards to the mid to long-term strategy, our strategy is best summarized by the phrase, connect to play, play to connect. In moving forward into the future of the gaming industry, namely growing virtual reality successes, Sony can become a company truly native in its environment, being flexible and adaptable in an evolving market. But why is this market so important for Sony? I'll pass to Steph to answer that question.
Next slide, please.
Next slide, please. Yeah.
There has never been a better time to invest big in cloud-based video gaming, with the video game industry expected to grow at a CAGR of 13% and the number of cloud game users skyrocketing at a CAGR of 99%. The target regions for the PS5 Lite are Southeast Asia and Latin America, the two fastest growing markets for video games by user. So where does Sony sit in the market? PlayStation's main competitors are Microsoft's Xbox and the Nintendo Switch, but the PS4 makes up 52% of the worldwide market share for gaming consoles. However, a key risk is the rise in popularity of PC and mobile gaming, which potentially threatens Sony's continued success. We considered suggesting that Sony enter the mobile gaming industry. However, Sony can better leverage its expertise in gaming consoles to ensure its continued success via this strategy. Next slide, please. Sony can tackle the growing popularity of PC and mobile gaming by promoting PS5 Lite as a superior, inexpensive multiplayer platform. During COVID-19, gamers have increasingly been using video games as a way to connect with their families and with friends. The global social gaming market will continue to grow post-COVID at a CAGR of 15.1% for the next 5 years. The multiplayer experience is far more practical and enjoyable on console rather than PC or mobile, especially in person. So Sony should really take advantage of the rising demand for social gaming. The PS5 and PS5 Lite strategy is very similar to Nintendo's Switch and Switch Lite strategy. Nintendo released the Lite version in 2019, 2 years after the original. This was highly successful, leading to a 24% increase in hardware sales and a 42.3% increase in software. But Sony can adopt an even better version of this strategy. Nintendo's approach had a few weaknesses. Switch Lite was far less functional, especially for multiplayer gaming. Both models were targeted at very similar customers, and neither version was targeted at emerging markets. By ensuring not to repeat these mistakes, Sony can increase its sales even more. I will now hand over to Tharushi to take you through a client journey. Next slide, please.
I would now like to introduce you to Ramil, an 11-year-old Filipino boy. When the PS5 is released, Ramil really wants it because it looks so fun, but his parents can't afford it. Watching his favorite pro gamers playing on the PS5 only makes him want it even more, but he knows it's impossible. But then, Sony releases its PS5 Lite, and finally his family can afford it. Then the family has a great time playing on the PS5 and bonding together. Ramil, of course, is overjoyed and invites his friends over to share the experience. Now there's this rich community of millions of PS users thanks to the larger customer base that the Lite attracts, which promotes increased game development for the PS platform and increases Sony's leverage in negotiations with developers. And if we go to the next slide, we can see how this links into our mid to long-term strategy, which is framed by our vision, connect to play, play to connect. Two of our underlying principles are to promote social interaction and innovate and invest in future technology. This will be achieved by developing virtual reality. The 2016 launch of PSVR sold an enormous 5.2 million units. Now, Sony must improve, especially allowing multiplayer interaction and developing face tracking, which conveys expressions and gestures. This would place PSVR in a superior position to explore ambitious plans. VR will enter the home entertainment mainstream and provide immersive experiences such as crowd-free concerts. Our third principle is based around flexibility. This involves transitioning to a subscription model and becoming more experimental. For example, Sony can bundle its games with its films or music, or invite customers to join conversations about developments. Thomas will now step you through these timeframes in the implementation timeline. Next slide, please.
We believe Sony should spend the rest of the financial year of 21 on advertising for the PS5, particularly in our previously suggested markets. As FY22 begins, Sony will utilize its dynamic efficiency in order to begin development of the PS5 Lite, which should continue for the remainder of the year. As this draws to a close, the key advertising period begins, utilizing the long window to ensure market success, culminating in the launch of the PS5 in the third quarter of FY23. After this, Sony will embark on its plans for the midterm, which are to be put in more concrete terms later to ensure adaptability to the conditions of the industry. Next slide, please. With this strategy, our models predict that Sony should be selling 22.92 million units by 2025, and that number is predicted to still increase, as can be seen in our unit sales chart. This would mark PS5/PS5 Lite as a success on the scale of the release of the PS2. Although these predictions may seem overly optimistic, this is an adequate representation of just how lucrative many of the emerging markets are. And what does this mean for the operational profit and revenue overall? By FY 2027, we predict that Sony should be operating at $9.4 billion USD operating profit, 3.4 of which should come from the G and NS segment, which, due to the release of the PS5 Lite, would see massive growth. Cumulatively, the G and NS segment would be able to create 12.3 billion USD in operating profit between financial years 20 and 27. But there are a number of factors that could threaten the strength of this strategy. So I'll pass it to Rushi in addressing these risks. Next slide, please.
A short-term risk is that the PS5 Lite is unsuccessful in emerging markets. To combat this, we propose that Sony drops the hardware price. Since over half of the Southeast Asian demographic spends on games, the software profit margin can be increased. Secondly, the decrease in software sales in FY 18 to 19 will be offset by the revenue increase after PS5 and Lite launch. The third risk is that PC and mobile users in emerging markets will not switch to the PS console. However, our short-term strategy is to build on our reputation as a console, offering a superior yet affordable gaming experience to attract these audiences. Now, some threats to our long-term plan. It may be difficult to dominate due to competitors in both gaming and VR. Therefore, we should consider consolidate the existing customer base, ensure loyalty, respond to demand, and leverage the PSVR success to promote PS as the best platform for social interaction. I will now hand over to Steph to conclude. Next slide, please.
To summarize, our short-term strategy is to release PS5 Lite 2 years after the PS5, promoting it to non-console users and non-gamers, especially targeting Southeast Asia and Latin America. This will bring a predicted operational profit of $9.4 billion US in FY27, with over 1/3 from the GNS segment, and a revenue of $132 billion US, which is Sony's highest ever recorded revenue. Our midterm strategy is to improve Sony's VR technology and transition to a subscription model to maximize profit and encourage customer loyalty. Our long-term plan is to encourage social interaction and a range of experiences through VR, and to remain relevant in a rapidly changing market by responding to consumer trends. Through this strategy, Sony will be able to take strong steps towards achieving the ultimate aim, to be a center for social connection and synonymous with gaming. With virtual reality, one day, a person with a disability will be able to climb to the top of Mount Everest with their best friend who lives on the other side of the world. All this made possible by Sony. We used to connect to play, but now we can play to connect. Thank you for listening, and we welcome your questions.
Perfect timing, guys. It's like you practiced it. Great job. Awesome. All right. Which one of our judges has a question first?
I have one, if I can go.
Amazing.
Yeah, okay. So before I ask my question, I just wanted to say I really like how you use the Nintendo Lite, the Switch Lite example. It's the same thing Apple is doing with this SE to really grow the installed base and then get to the recurring revenue. My question was on India and China. So a third of the world lives in these two countries where Sony has historically had very big challenges to growing their console base. In your 23 million unit forecast, 2 or 3 years out, are China and India a big part of that? Or are you just strategically saying, we're not going after that anymore? Let Tencent have China, let Reliance have India, and others have India. How do those two countries fit into your strategy?
Yes, sorry. So in response to that, we calculated our unit sales more in regards to targeting the Latin American and Southeast Asian markets. This didn't mean that we weren't at all targeting the Chinese and Indian markets, but as you've said, Sony has faced a lot of difficulty in both of those markets with very, very strong competitors. This is why we particularly wanted to target areas such as Latin America and Southeast Asia, where there was perceived a bit of a, it was an easier, the available customer base in both of these sectors of the world was a lot more, it was a lot more susceptible for Sony to really push itself into, particularly with the PS5 Lite. Yes, so exactly, yeah.
Adding on to that, the PS4 is actually really popular in both Southeast Asia and Latin America. It's just that there aren't like heaps of people using consoles yet, because obviously consoles are a bit less accessible than, let's say, mobile gaming. However, we really think that Sony can build on the reputation that PS4 has in these areas to really, and then by dropping the prices can really access quite a lot more people with the PS5 Lite.
I see, thank you.
A question for you on the light pricing. So the way you characterize this is there's basically, relatively elastic demand for the console, you cut the price and suddenly like the TAM expands a lot. How confident are you that's actually true? I would worry that as you decrease the price for the Lite, you're not going to tap into that great mass that you're talking about.
So I can answer this. So decreasing the price of the Lite is kind of a way for non-gamers and non-console users to start using the PS, because previously it was that high price that was, especially in emerging markets, that was deterring people from entering into using PlayStation. So this is a way to make it more accessible for especially those non-gamers, non-console users, and then they will realize that PlayStation, as it continues to evolve and start integrating like VR technology, the value for money is significantly better, and it will involve a much higher quality gaming experience. And hopefully then they will be encouraged to perhaps switch to the PS5 if they are able to afford that. So yes, that's why we lowered the price quite a bit to target that demographic. And then hopefully this would lead to increased growth in the future.
To add on to that, oh, sorry, you go.
Oh yes, exactly. Adding on to that, we do actually believe that the lowering of the price is a significant enough change to tap into that market. We can see this with the historical trends of Sony's consoles in general. The PS4, which was entered at a much significantly lower price than the PS3, it was able to achieve much more market success than its counterpart. And we believe that by lowering the prices to really rather significantly, with the PS5 Lite to be lower than, when accounting for inflation, to be one of the lowest prices that PS5 has ever offered, that would really tap into that market.
Awesome, thank you. And Jasmine, I think she had a question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I missed it or not, but you haven't really addressed about the esports gaming platform that's taking off. Is that something of a consideration? How does your Sony Lite, how does the PS5 Lite, figure into that?
It's definitely something, it's definitely something we would consider in the midterm, especially after we've released the PS5 Lite. What we are actually more focused on is the streaming aspect of that. So if you could go to slide 33 of the appendix. So I'll just refer to Southeast Asia for this, but it also applies for Latin America. There's actually a really high amount of the online population that watches online video game streaming. So especially coming out of COVID, where we can't really use conventions as much to advertise our new products, it's really, this is a really, really good opportunity to really step up our promotion on these live stream platforms. Because well over half of the people in Southeast Asia's online population watch game-related video content, and most of that's live streams. So that would be a step, that would be how we'd tap into this online increased engagement for the PS5 Lite. But in the midterm, it's definitely something we should consider investing in esports. Yeah.
Furthermore, adding on to that, when it comes into tapping into the market of people who actually want to buy consoles for for esports, for that really high demand competitive esport industry, we believe that Sony's existing PS5 is the best way to push forward with that, and that the PS5 Lite as our alternative is much more of the mass market appeal and not so much that really professional esport appeal.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you guys for your great, thoughtful answers. All right, we've got about 30 seconds. Do we have a quick question, or do you guys have any closing remarks you'd like to make? Oh, that's it. All right, very good. Well, thank you so much, guys. You did a fantastic job. Thanks for all your hard work. Now you can go rest. And we will be announcing the winners live on Tuesday night. And I will send you some more information about when you can access that live as well. So congratulations on making it this far, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
So much.
Thank you.
Well done.
All righty. Hello, everyone. Is the crew all here? I think we're missing one person.
I think. Wait, we'll just.
Robert, Jelena,
message him.
John. Is it
He
here?
says he's connecting. So.
Okay, no worries. Awesome. We'll just give the judges a few minutes as well for them to finish up their marking from the previous team, for you guys to get settled in. How are you going?
It's fine.
We're kind
Yeah,
of
everyone-
surprised because of the changes.
Everyone doing good?
Yeah, we were. The case pack initially said. Yeah. We initially
Yeah.
thought it was at 2 p.m. on our time, but apparently the
2:40.
difference is.
That's okay. There was some confusion because 2 countries have changed time zones and the rest of the world has not. So that's okay there. Though we're here now, and you guys have made it. So here we go. It's showtime. All right, let's see. So just a couple reminders, guys. You're gonna have 10
Wait,
minutes for your
sorry, I'm having trouble with the connection. Can you wait a few minutes?
Sorry, we need to continue because we're we can't wait a few minutes. But let's see how you go with your connection. Maybe one of your teammates can start. So you have 10 minutes for your presentation. I will give you a warning at 2 minutes and at 30 seconds to move to the next slide. Just say next slide, and we'll move on to the next slide. Remember to take yourself on mute before you begin to talk. You will have 7 minutes for questions and answers. And the same, I will give you a 2-minute and a 30-second warning. So, all right, TGCC, we ready?
Ready.
Jasmine, are we ready? Yeah, Vikas, Jamie?
Ready to go.
All
Good to see you.
right. Awesome, guys. The time will start in 5, 4, 3, 2. Good luck.
So good day, everyone. I'm Megan. This is Lester Robert Amir here to present our strategy for Sony's PS5 and future projects. Next slide, please. The global games market has been leaning towards cloud and mobile gaming. And with the release of PS5 Digital, Sony is showing its plans to embrace this trend and eventually move PlayStation games and services to fully online platforms. Disruptors of the industry include the rise of cloud and subscription platforms, just like PS Now and PS Plus, and also included our VR gaming and globally improving internet, which we can use as a bridge to expand our reach. So it's important for us to keep in mind that we aren't the only ones moving in this industry. Sony has had amazing success with PS4 compared to key rivals such as Xbox One, but Microsoft is quickly catching up with the acquisition of Bethesda and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Still, Sony can compete and dominate. All we have to do is take the right path. Next slide, please. With this, we identified 3 main paths PlayStation can take. VR gaming, cloud gaming, and mobile social gaming. For VR, Sony is currently developing their VR headset, but game and equipment developers are waiting for each other to move. One advantage of taking on the path of VR gaming involves the first mover advantage, wherein we could develop pioneer equipment and capture a new market before our competitors. For cloud gaming, Sony has an existing platform called PS Now, which can be utilized to ride the 99% expected CAGR in the next 4 years and bring our games to more platforms and promote digital gaming. Lastly, for mobile, we could reach a 2.2 billion large market of gamers that don't have the capabilities to own a console.
Given all this, we found that VR will still be a viable investment in the future, but it's best for now to focus on keeping up with competitors in the cloud and mobile social gaming race. Next slide, please. With rising internet access, streaming games is increasing in demand with almost 15 billion in projected revenue in 2024, and the industry doubling in size each year. Currently, Nintendo and Xbox lead the cloud gaming race with around 15 million subscribers each. Far behind though are PS Now and Nvidia having 2.2 million and 1 million. Being accessible, mobile social gaming has grown past PC and console gaming with 2.2 billion users and $68.5 billion revenue. And this mode of gaming is still expected to grow annually by 8% from 2018 to 2023.
So our PlayStation consoles may have been a success, but we haven't reached the full potential of our subscription platforms yet. Many PS Now subscribers complain about the outdated libraries, and even though PS Plus is widely anticipated for their flagship titles and special content, it still doesn't utilize the cloud gaming potential. So Microsoft has already started with cross-platform games through the Xbox Game Pass, which will soon enough be prevalent. So remaining only in console will not be an option, which is why we need a better platform. Next slide, please.
With these, we combine the current offerings of PS Plus and PS Now to introduce to you the PS Cloud, a subscription service that provides a rotating library of games on the cloud and exclusive discounts, add-ons, pre-orders, and other freebies. This will allow PS and mobile gamers to access exclusive Sony content anytime and anywhere, helping us reach a wider audience. We can also reward our loyal base as more of these will be released faster on Sony platforms such as the PS5 and Sony smartphones. So why PS Cloud and why now? Sony is already embracing the digital gaming market trend with the introduction of the PS5 Digital. The PS Cloud builds on this by letting you play games on the cloud, shifting more users digitally. It also helps us sustain PS5 sales when PS Cloud free trials are packaged with them.
So to rapidly grow our subscriber base, PS Cloud will be offered at the same price of PS Now and PS Plus for the first 3 months, which will increase later as shown in the prices below due to the expanded range of services. Active subscribers of PS Plus and PS Now will be automatically transferred to the PS Cloud, and free 1 to 3 month trials will be given to former subscribers who stopped subscribing in an effort to attract them once more. The platform will debut in select regions globally in 2023, and current PS Plus and PS Now users will also be included in trials of PS Cloud before the official release. Next slide, please.
Of course, the digital race doesn't end there. Moving towards digitalization, we introduced the PS Hub. Launching 2 years after the PS Cloud, it is a scaled-down portable version of the PlayStation 5, especially designed for PS Cloud access. With access to the game cloud, streaming sites, and the exclusive PlayStation gaming system, it's a perfect home entertainment system that costs only $150. It's expected to tap into customers that can't afford PS units or are looking to primarily access the PS Cloud without much value for graphics. It acts similar to a TV box, which can be easily carried and plugged to TVs and monitors everywhere you go. Its reduced size and capabilities saves us the console production costs and prevents it from cannibalizing PS5 sales. Through PS Hub, we can connect more people to the PS Cloud and integrate future Sony synergies, such as Sony Pictures and Music, to improve performance in other segments. Next slide, please.
So, to maximize what Sony can offer as a whole beyond the gaming industry, we'll follow a long-term synergy plan starting with bundle promos with Sony home electronics such as PS Hub discounts when buying a smart TV, and then we'll introduce Sony Cloud, an expansion of PlayStation Cloud with other Sony entertainment segments. Soon, we'll develop the Sony Cloud X PS Hub ecosystem for wireless connection of consumer electronics and entertainment devices through the PS Hub. And of course, we will still cater to our gaming audience through the development of VR and AI technology for PlayStation. Next slide, please.
The implementation of PS Cloud, PS Hub, and PlayStation's long-term synergies with other Sony segments is outlined below. Development and testing of the PS Cloud is done from 2021 up until 2024. Mobile gameplay optimization begins in 2022, and mobile games will slowly roll out in the PS Cloud across the years. PS Cloud will be released in Europe and North America in the early half of 2023, while UAE, Saudi Arabia, Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore get it in the latter half of the year. As internet infrastructure improves, PS Cloud will be brought to more countries worldwide. PS Hub development starts in 2022 and will be the first revealed during Consumer Electronics Show 2025, and then distributed to PS Cloud countries in the latter half of that year. Other segments will be integrated in the PS Cloud for Sony Cloud from 2024 and will be revealed in CES 2026 that same year. Sony Cloud will be integrated with PS Hub promotions to market them as complementary products. Lastly, development of the PSVR and its content will be sustained to enhance PSVR models integrated with PS Hub and PS Cloud that will debut as the decade ends. This will ensure that PlayStation has a strong position in the cloud, mobile, and VR gaming trends per era. Next slide, please.
So as we digitalize, we generate more value from PlayStation's network services. By launching PS Cloud, PS Hub, and Sony Cloud synergies, we can expect to have a CAGR of 11.33% from 2020 to 2030, jump-started by the hype of PS5 this year. Comparing it to the projected growth of PS Now and PS Plus, we can get as much as 50 to 80% more subscribers, which translates to massive revenue gains, as seen in the graph in the right, in millions of yen. In a base case scenario, we expect to obtain a revenue of 252 billion and a profit of 154 billion from subscriptions, digital purchases, PS Hub sales, and inter-segment impact in video and music through the Sony Cloud. With the reduction of physical software and the more compact PS Hub, we reduce costs in manufacturing and logistics and even lessen electronic waste as we turn digital. Next slide, please.
We've also taken into account the risks and mitigations for this strategy. To ensure the effect of PS Hub and Sony Cloud on other segments, we can give bundles of PlayStation and Sony electronics to customers. We also plan on focusing on after-sales digital services to compensate for the declining demand in consoles. PS Cloud stand out by having an expansive and updated list of available game titles, including exclusive games and active platforms for rising developers to introduce their new games. In addition of mobile games in the cloud will also be gradual to not steal the limelight from the consoles. When it comes to geographic release, we enter markets only when internet infrastructure becomes viable, and continuous updates will be done to ensure active improvements based on customer demands. Next slide, please.
So Sony and PlayStation customers are more than just teen gamers. They're actually also movie-loving artists, innovators, or families finding a way to bond in their homes. And with the PS Cloud and the PS Hub, everyone can experience the best of Sony's entertainment, revolutionizing our services in gaming and beyond. Thank you. So, are there any questions?
Amazing job, guys. Right on the dot. Fantastic. Great job, obviously practicing. Brilliant. All right. Because Jasmine's up first.
Okay, you talked a lot about bundling, and pricing was an issue, and I find that very interesting. But I mean, are you looking to tie up with Sony Financial Services? Have you looked at that? Where's the business case around that? And
Hello? Hello?
Robert, we can hear you.
We can hear you. Yep.
I think, was the question finished at financial services? Because it was cut off, I think.
yeah, so no, we like the bundling, but I mean, are you working with Sony Financial Services? How's that tying in? Where's that bundle product coming from? And what is the business case behind that?
I'd be happy to answer that question. So with the case of Sony PlayStation, we imagined it in partnering with other Sony segments in two ways. First is partnering with stronger segments such as famous electronics like the TVs, the home audio systems, but we also want to partner with segments that are quite weaker, such as their smartphones. So by partnering with them, we get to ride the success of these successful segments while also being able to boost the weaker segments into riding the wave with the PS Hub and PS Cloud into its success. So does that answer your question?
Well, because bundling, I mean, it's a pricing, so it's actually a financial services product, isn't it? So,
Yes. So,
and Sony actually has a financial services arm. So I'm just wondering, how does that tie?
so actually the pricing strategy and bundling will more on happen at the retail level. So it will be done in the distribution networks such as the shop. So it does not we didn't necessarily tie it up with the financial insurance services of Sony and the Sony Bank. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Robert. Vikas?
Yeah, I have a question. So as you know, the new PS5 that launches next month is coming out in two versions, one that accepts physical media or the cartridges and one that does not. Is the PS Hub an extension of the console version that does not accept physical media, or is this a third product? And does that create confusion for customers, or are you just tapping different markets?
This is a different product. The PS Hub will release on 2023, so that's not to create confusion. And the PS Hub will rely primarily on PS Cloud to stream the games. The PS Hub will not process the games themselves, but stream the game from the PS Cloud.
So to add to that, basically it's like a cut down variant of the PS5 digital that is primarily geared towards the PS Cloud service. So after we release PS Cloud, we release a version of PS5, which is the PS Hub, that is optimized for access to the new service, which is PS Cloud.
I see, thank you. And presumably by 2023, a lot of the countries that are currently on 3G will move to 4G. Those on 4G will be in 5G. So that might help as well.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I wanted to ask a question about your CAGR assumptions for your subscription revenue. I believe that you guys had a slide that had sort of between like 5 to 10% CAGR on the subscription revenue. Can you just give me some context as to kind of how you forecasted that? It strikes me as being on the low side, considering you're starting from like a pretty low base.
So this CAGR was based, we projected it initially from the growth of PS Plus and PS Now using a constant rate, because currently PS Plus is enjoying amazing growth from the release of PS5, and they've also added additional content. So with that, we use that as a baseline and therefore forecasted what could be the increase of subscribers once we merge PS Plus and PS Now. So it might be on the low side, but this is because on the first few years with the release of PS Cloud, there is a lower growth, yearly growth, but it soon speeds up once PS Hub releases, which is the assumption we use.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
I had one more question. To what extent do you see other subscription entertainment products like Netflix and Spotify as being kind of competitors to the strategy? You've identified, some competitors in the pure console space, but how do you think of that broader kind of substitutes in the market?
In fact, we actually think Spotify and Netflix, those would actually be companies that could help us with advertising PS Hub, because if you check slide 6, we'll see that the PS Hub will provide easy access to them, and of course it would make it seem as if it would be easier for even non-gaming consumers for them to have access to those. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
So yeah, just to add to that, currently Netflix and Spotify can already be accessed in the current OS of the PS5. So that would also help attract non-gaming audience into joining the PS Hub and PS Cloud bandwidth audience, and eventually introduce them to the Sony Cloud synergies so they can enjoy a
Yes.
better range of services.
Great. Go ahead. Does we have about 40 seconds? We have time for one very quick question, or team, if you wanted to leave with some closing remarks. No, that's all right, guys. It's probably time for a nap, I would assume. So great job, great work, great presentation. Thank you so much for all of your effort.
Thank you also.
Thank you so much.
The winners will be announced Tuesday evening. So I'll be sending some information out about how you can access that live announcement. We don't have the instant gratification that we had at the regional round, but we have our amazing judges that are watching the presentations live, and then our other 3 judges on the other side of the world are going to watch all the presentations recorded. So all 6 judges are judging all of the presentations. So bear with us, and congratulations on making it this far. Great job, guys. Go take a nap, have a great afternoon, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all.
All righty, here we go. I think everybody's connected to audio now. Samuel, Margaret, and Hope, hello. How are we today?
Hello.
Hello. We'll let the judges finish their markings for the previous team, and as they do that, I'll go ahead and take care of some housekeeping measures. So just like in the regional round, when you want to click to the next slide, just say next slide, please. If during the question and answer session you do want to refer to an appendix slide or a slide within your presentation, please be patient. Help us go back and forth. If you say slide 7, I think there's like 240 slides in the deck, so it's not slide 7 anymore. Just help us find that. You have 10 minutes for your presentation. I will give you a 2-minute warning in the chat box, and I'll also give you a 30-second warning in the chat box. You have 7 minutes for questions and answers from the judges. I will also give you a 2-minute and a 30-second warning for that as well. And I will come in and cut you off if you keep going. So just as a warning there. Let's see, how are we going? I think a couple of the judges are still preparing.
I'm ready.
All right, we're ready, we're ready. All right, let's go ahead and kick this off. All right, amazing. All right, guys, I am going to start the timer in 5, 4, 3, 2, good luck.
Good afternoon, judges. My name is Margaret.
I'm Hope.
I'm Sam.
And we're from Morrison Academy. This year's global prompt revolves around the Tokyo-based company Sony, and more specifically focusing on their recent developments of their PlayStation 5. We believe that Sony can be a global leader in developing a sustainable future for their products, starting by harnessing the power of the PlayStation through innovation, promotions, and interactions. Next slide, please.
Here's a quick overview of the presentation. Margaret will be explaining the company values, while Hope will talk about the key issues about PlayStations. I will explain the business plan for the continuous monetization of PS5. Hope will then explain the direction Sony should head towards in the following years. And Margaret will talk about how our plan relates to Sony's values. In the end, Margaret will then provide a conclusion for this presentation. Next slide, please.
Sony's company values. Sony is a company that is strongly committed to their values. Their mission to, quote, fill the world with emotion through the power of creativity and technology is one to be reckoned with. Sony is open to new ideas and is working to pioneer the future with dreams and curiosity. This is so important in our day and age because it doesn't make creators and users actually, feel as if they're stuck in a box. Sony values our individuality and works to pursue the creation of the very best by promoting diversity and varying viewpoints. With that being said, there are some key issues that Hope will be addressing on the next slide. Next slide.
Our team has identified multiple key issues when considering the monetization of the PS5, as well as the future growth of the PlayStation. First of all, Sony's PlayStation is not investing enough in current and developing trends, such as the rising popularity of cloud gaming, which Sony has failed to harness the full potential of in previous years. Secondly, many have reported dissatisfaction in the pricing of the PS5 and exclusive games. Due to the high production costs, the PS5 has become one of the most expensive gaming consoles, and there has also been a price increase for the exclusive games. Lastly, while the PS5 has certain innovations, there is a lack of differentiation. The product does not exactly stand out when next to competitors such as Microsoft's Xbox Series X. Next slide, please.
First off, through using past data of PS3 and PS4, we predicted that the revenue of PS5 will generate around $4.1 to $7.3 billion if it was sold for $500, or $4.5 to $8 billion if it's sold for $550. The hardware profit will be from $417.5 to $367.5 million, or $835 to $367.5 million. Due to the price decrease, after 2.5 years, if the PS5 sold for $500, it will no longer be profitable. And for $550, it will no longer be profitable on hardware alone in 4.5 years. Though this calculation does not include software sales, which continues to provide profit even if the hardware no longer profits. The main cost will be from the production cost of PS5, which ranges from $3.7 billion to $7.7 billion based on the predicted unit sales. The advertisement fee from the past is $37.6 million USD, and due to how quickly the price drops for the hardware, the upkeep and creation of games is more important to creating a sustainable profit. Sony should invest and provide funds for game developers instead of raising the existing price of PS5. Sony should not raise the price of PS games either due to how people's dissatisfaction with the rising prices of PlayStation games. This graph shows the profit of each PS generated years after its release, and it's made so that it all starts at the same starting point. The numbers on the left are insignificant, but we will be looking at the patterns from the past PlayStations. Generally, the profit rises until the second year, but the most recent example, PS4, kept rising until the third year. In between the third and the fifth, we don't see much of a drop or rise in profit, but after the fifth year, both PS4 and PS3's profit dropped drastically. We think it's important to start funding and developing big games starting in 2022 and releasing it by 2025, which can introduce a new way of interest in PlayStations by the time its profit starts to drop. Next slide, please. After the initial release of PS5, Sony should provide heavy advertisements on all platforms while there's still a general interest in it. Afterward, the advertisement becomes less effective, and we think that Sony requires a new and more active social media management team. Since the target is for high school students and those generally by the age of 18 to 24, we think social media interaction and reaching out to influencers may be more efficient in advertising, while also reducing the cost. The content Sony posts should also be more engaging with the audience. It's important to create and promote new games after PS5's release, with it being a great sustainable income while also sparking interest in PS5. We think it's important to work on the PS5 Pro and to release it by 2025, paired with a new blockbuster game to introduce new waves of hype before PS5's profits start to drop too much. Next slide, please.
So for the future growth of the PlayStation, we have multiple recommendations. Firstly, we propose that Sony place an emphasis in shifting to cloud gaming. Cloud gaming is predicted to have a growth rate of 59% by 2024, so it's thought to become the future of gaming. It also offers many advantages, such as helping save storage space and hardware costs. As Sony has partnered with Microsoft Azure for its cloud computing services, we believe that focusing on this direction for PlayStation is optimal. Now, to address the problem of cost in PlayStations, we believe that it would be best for Sony to make physical consoles compatible with games made for older PlayStations, such as the PS3, so people don't have to buy new games. This encourages customer loyalty. We also propose that games should be purchased individually or subscribed to in bundles. As for the digital edition of the PlayStation, there should be a similar system for acquiring games, but also starter games that come naturally with purchase, since buyers may feel as if they do not have anything substantial. Next slide, please. Another direction we would recommend PlayStation to delve more into would be in VR gaming. VR gaming is predicted to have a growth rate of 32.75% by 2025, this being a way to ensure Sony's continued growth in gaming. Sony can also synergize with their imaging and sensing business segments, as it will provide a better solution for development of VR. Currently, Sony has released the PSVR, which didn't do very well in the market. We believe that through improving upon it by using systems to avoid nausea as well as manage technical difficulties, such as to improve motion tracking to avoid the drifting images, it could ensure better user satisfaction. In order to better promote VR gaming, not just as an add-on for hardcore gamers as it is viewed as right now, there should be a focus on creating more Sony exclusive games tailored towards VR instead of existing games adapted for VR. In order to achieve this, we propose that there be a funding of $100 million towards creating VR games. Next slide, please.
Okay, in terms of keeping true to their company values, we recommend that Sony can work towards building an encouraging community. They can achieve this through developing games that are more geared towards a specific type of community. Let's say, for example, more multiplayer games and a variety among the games that are provided. We also suggest that they improve on their servers and functions for a more overall pleasant experience with their navigation. While Sony does have a developing membership program, we suggest them to improve upon their PlayStation Plus membership system. And for example, they could be starting to establish a better gifting function so that users can buy games for one another with ease, as well as tackle other common difficulties that exist currently on PlayShare. We also propose that they include starter default games, free bundles, and educational games upon the purchase of the PlayStation. Our second recommendation for Sony is to place emphasis on diversity and creativity. This could look like many things. For example, allocating funds for indie game developers and small startups by allowing them to gain access to exclusive games and to support them financially, or even just provide them with some sort of publicity. Next slide, please. So in conclusion to our whole presentation, to ensure Sony's product longevity, meeting their corporate mission and trends, and establishing differentiation and cost-effective marketing strategies, we propose Sony to develop and improve upon the monetization of their PS5. Specifically, expand upon the use of promotions, game releases, and effective timelines. We also encourage Sony to delve deeper into what the future holds and pursue the development of cloud gaming and VR, as well as strategic bundling and subscription programs. Last but not least, we recommend that Sony can stick true to their company values by being a global leader in game development and funding, with a focus on their values, which are community, diversity, and creativity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing, great job, guys. Fantastic. All right, so I will stop the time and reset it. You'll have 7 minutes for Q&A, and we will start that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the first question.
I have a question. So I think one of the proposals was for a PS5 Pro in a couple of years. If you look at what Apple has done with its lower end handsets, what Nintendo has done with its Switch Lite, it seems like the initial thrust is let's put out a high quality product and then tap into a larger user base going to a lower price point. It seems like you're offering something else. Did you consider and reject the inverse of your strategy, and why was that?
So we decided to go with PS5 Pro because we looked at PS4 Pro, which was released, and if we lower PS5 to PS5 Lite or lower its function and reduce its cost, it is quite similar to what PS4 Pro would be. So we want to introduce something different, something better for the users.
I understand. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm just wondering if, from my side, did you focus on, the different markets or regions that Sony should focus on, given the different level of gaming maturity and penetration? Any thoughts on that?
I believe we would actually want to put a bigger emphasis on the gaming communities in the US, Japan, and perhaps some other areas of the UK because they have a bigger gaming community. And actually, Sony made more sales there, so that would be maybe our focus. Does that answer your question?
Oh, good. Thanks.
Very good, guys. Did you have a question, Jamie? I see you've unmuted.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you guys a question around, who you see in the VR space as the market leader right now. And a second question to this would be, you mentioned you want to do things like, reduce nausea associated with VR. This kind of R&D activity is very hard to forecast, like how long it takes, how much money it takes. So to what extent are you committed to being like the market leader versus just an adopter of the best technology when it comes out?
Because we actually want to focus a lot on cloud gaming. We think that's more it's more sustainable, and we think it's a better option to go with. So I think for VR, we want to start developing it, making it better, because PSVR didn't do that well. But our emphasis would be more on cloud gaming. So for VR growth, I think we should try funding it and improving upon like games and stuff. And if we have those type of options, we can try improving like technology, making like eye tracking systems, making it more easier for them to use, that type of stuff. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
Awesome, great job, guys. If we don't have any other questions, did you guys, you've got about 15 seconds if you want to make a closing remark, team. Nope, all good. All right, awesome. Fantastic, guys. That's okay. I know you didn't practice that part, right? That was a surprise. So on Tuesday the 13th, as I mentioned, we'll be announcing the winners live. So I'll be sending out more information.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation today, guys. Nap time for everyone, I think. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thanks so much for all the hard work you've put in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. I think we're all connected to audio. As the judges finish up making their marks from the last team, I'll go ahead and welcome you all. How are you? Are we doing good? Yeah, everybody's alive, still kicking.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Amazing. Fantastic. Welcome, team. Okay, so just a couple housekeeping things. So just like the regional round, right? I will give you a warning when you have 2 minutes left for your presentation, as well as 30 seconds left. And I'll do that in the chat box, okay? You'll have 10 minutes for your presentation and then 7 minutes for the question and answer session. To switch the slide, just say next slide, and we'll go to the next slide. If you are asked a question during Q&A, or you'd like to refer to something in the appendix or something in your presentation, just bear with us and help us kind of navigate and find the slide. You say it was slide 7, but now it's in the middle of 274 slides, so it's not slide 7 anymore. So just to ask you for your cooperation with that. And yeah, I think other than that, we're probably ready to go. Let's get a thumbs up from the judges. Are we ready? Yep. All right.
Ready.
Awesome. And team, just to let you know really quickly, Alice, Isabella, Fern, and Amy. So we have Vikas, Jamie, and Jasmine who are judging your presentations live. And then we'll be sending this recording to the other judges in the other region to then judge your recorded version. So we'll be announcing the winners live on Tuesday. All right, well, without further ado, nobody wants to hear from me. All right, let's do this. We will be starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, good luck.
So good afternoon, judges. We're Meraki from Hong Kong, and here's our PS5 monetizing proposal. So based on our slogan, Free Your Inner Child, we aim to appeal to a wider demographic of creators and gamers, both along the gender and age spectrum. So to begin with, Alice will take you through the key bottlenecks and competitors. Following that, Amy and I will introduce our strategy to maintain and create consumers' loyalty. Isabella will then talk to you through our PS5 console monetizing plan. After that, we'll reiterate our short-term project proposal through our financial projections, as well as proposing a potential future development plan, then closing off by illustrating the project's progression on a timeline. Next slide, please.
To start off the proposal, we've identified 3 key bottlenecks Sony is facing at the moment. Firstly, being the existence of strong competition and capable substitutes in the market of console gaming. As listed in the table, Nintendo and Xbox are Sony's 2 greatest competitors, both having price advantage and is known for different iconic features, whereas Nintendo's portability and large game base appeal to the market, while Xbox console is identified to be the most powerful console, with the feature of PC and Xbox Stream. Secondly, there is a decline in the growth of market for physical consoles, with a compound annual growth rate of only 3.4% compared to browser or app gaming and PC games 7.2%. Often preferring portable and easily accessible PC or cloud games, market demonstrates a shift in preference, and Sony must learn to incorporate this into their future plans. Lastly, Sony lacks an iconic game in the market. Unlike Nintendo with their Wii game series or Mario Kart, Sony does not associate with the brand name of game makers. With these problems identified, we will now introduce our proposals, which we hope would boost PS5's competitiveness against the other consoles and developing Sony's game sector to maintain and expand the consumer base. Next slide, please.
So with the power of backwards compatibility, we aim to win back our previous customers who may have given up on console games due to rapid technological advancements. With the existing backwards compatibility for PS5, which means that the existing game on PS4 will still be playable on the new console, we propose the extension of the backwards compatibility on PS5 to cover PS1, 2, and 3 as well. And in parallel, we will also set up a campaign to promote the reconnection with one's youth of the previous generation of gamers to stir up their nostalgic feeling, which is the yearn to reconnect with their younger selves. Furthermore, with the availability of the original versions of games like Tekken or Gran Turismo coupled with the similar functionality of controller, the group will be enticed to return to gaming as it appeals to and eases their avoidance to adapt to the technological advancements of the 21st century. Next slide, please.
Online connections soared during the COVID era. Therefore, developing in a market with mature online streaming technology increases the range and capacity of target customers. With China's wide base of live streaming users, including 262 million live game streaming users and 265 million live e-commerce participants in year 2020, China definitely has the hugest online promotion and expansion potential. On top of that, trend lines on the right presents Sony's total revenue by region from 2017 to 2019. Only China had an upward trend in these years, showing its growing loyalty towards Sony products and its tremendous growing entertainment needs. Sony can make use of influencer marketing by giving free consoles and games to top streamers on Douyu TV and Bilibili, both platforms with over 160 million active users per month, in exchange for a greater online exposure to display PS5's features. Discount codes can also be distributed to streamers as well, in response to the emerging live streaming e-commerce market. In the near future, when a virtual console is made possible by the cloud system, in which PS games can be connected on phones and computers, live streaming can then help Sony target customers in China's second or third tier cities, where people might not be able to afford a physical console but own a smartphone. These potential customers can then easily purchase PS games on phones or computers that are less costly than a physical game console, increasing Sony's game sales other than console sales that are targeted towards first-tier cities customers. Next slide, please.
After the promotion plan, we propose that Sony can create a cloud gaming system which enables the general public to design their own content for the game and contribute to the Sony cloud space. The process starts with the creators designing their own games through using the templates or game backbones provided by Sony. After that, Sony will review the content. Games will then be published and available for players to purchase. The payment will be made per download, with 70% of the revenue going to the creator and 30% for Sony. The system can decrease the cost for Sony with one-time payment for the employment of the game developer to create the backbone. It can also increase the diversity of the content, which can appeal to a wider gamer demographics, and it can also generate passive income for the creators.
Minecraft have a similar marketplace with a system which allows the creators to sell Minecraft maps, which Minecraft fans have made more than $1 million revenue within 2 months. 66 RPG, a role-play gaming website using a similar model which opens for public submission, reached a total number of 1.2 million domestic games being created in just 10 years. With the worldwide launch of the system, we can see that the projected number of the games will have a large chance to surpass 1.2 million in shorter than 10 years. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The Sony Cloud gaming system can also be made to advocate Sony's corporate mission, generate sustainable social value. And in this case, we focus on the social value of feminism. Many people might have the stereotypical thought of that video game players are majorly males. However, females can also excel in esports and gaming. Studies show that, however, males and females have divergent preferences in selecting game types. To encourage the female users to explore their interests in both game playing and content creation, the cloud gaming system can successfully increase the diversity in game content and inspire potential female gamers to showcase their talent in gaming. So Sony can provide the player freedom to customize the sex of the game leads. For example, in the game Cyberpunk that will be released for PlayStation 5 will allow such property to happen. It helps promote the social value and embrace different gender identities. Next slide, please.
Projection of cloud gaming. In the upcoming 5 years, we promise a 5% year-on-year growth in revenue by ensuring 26.5 million game downloads in the base year. The 5% growth in revenue between 2020 to 2021 is projected to account for $158 million USD. With the hypothesis of $20 USD per game and the fact that 30% of each cloud transaction goes to Sony, we'll need a total of 26.3 million downloads, meaning an average of 22 downloads per game on the cloud. This is feasible in the huge Chinese gaming market. With this stable projected growth of 5%, we foresee a promised 4.7 billion USD revenue growth in the games and network services sector. Next slide, please.
On this slide is our financial projection for Sony's game and network services sector. Taking Sony's EBITDA into consideration, adding to it a 5% promised growth from our proposal, minus corporate income tax by the 2020 Japan tax rate for corporations with over 8 million yen revenue, minus the capital expenditure, which appears to be 5,000 yen every year on Sony's 20-year financials. This gives us the unlevered free cash flow of Sony's game and network services sector. Using this trend of the data of all the above fields in the past 3 years, we did an estimated projection up to 2025. Promising growth trend is evident. Next slide, please.
So moving on to our future development plan, we proposed an investment in developing a VR theme park with 2 strategies in the company. The VR theme park is a virtual platform that is comprised of all games offered by the PlayStation. So users who enter the virtual world can interact and play games together on a unilateral platform. So expanding upon the accompanying strategies, the first strategy is geared towards the conversion of non-gamers into potential gamers. So in this approach, we will set up VR theme park booths that will allow non-gamers to try out gaming experience through the purchase of a 1-day ticket pass upon entrance. And for the day, players will be granted an unlimited access to every games offered on the platform. And with the addictive nature of games, non-gamers will become our potential customers. And the theme park will also be sold as a single product. However, in this scheme, the games will have limited levels, which will require gamers to pay additional fees to access the complete version. And the product will also be sold in bundle with Sony's 360 reality audio headphones and potential sensor shoes that will enrich the realistic elements, which is core to the PS enthusiast gaming experience. Through this perspective plan, we will benefit from the increase in revenue through the increase in sales of gaming accessories and single purchase games. And by opening doors to get non-gamers through offering a non-binding gaming experience, we will win new customers who will contribute to our future sales as well. Next slide, please. A summary of our proposal is shown in this overview of our projected progression. The PlayStation 5 will first be released in 12th November 2020. Following up will be the live streaming promotion targeting the Chinese market, which will start in the first season of 2021. The Reconnecting Your Youth campaign will be launched right after release of PlayStation 5, and it will last for 1 year. And by the time PlayStation 6 is released, the Sony Cloud gaming system will be developed and ready to be introduced to the public. In an estimated 5 to 10 years, a comprehensive VR theme park will be developed and open in the near future. Through this proposal, we hope you can free your inner child and unleash your creativity. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you for considering our proposal. Now we are open for questions.
Right on the money. Fantastic job, team. All right, brilliant. Great presentation. Let's see, Jamie's has his hand up. All right, Jamie.
I wanted to ask you a question about your VR theme park. So just so I'm clear, is this a virtual experience, i.e. you subscribe and then you access content online, and there's no physical kind of store element of this, right? Just tell me a bit more about like which markets you'd prioritize for launch and, you know, what the initial offering would look like. This sounds very interesting to me. My only concern would be it could take a long time to really develop that fully. So where would you start?
So basically, the VR theme park is essentially developed on an online platform, but then the first strategy is aiming to gain customers as the non-gamers to convert into potential gamers, and that will involve the setting up of physical booths. However, that will not cost as much as, say, developing a physical theme park, the entire theme park. So that would be a lower production cost. So it would be relatively easier to set up. Yeah.
And as for the market, we are also targeting the Chinese market as well as a priority. And as we have mentioned, the Chinese market is very rich in the live streaming session. So if we can promote this theme park on online live streaming by those top streamers, then this can gain a huge recognition in a short time.
And I totally understand Jamie's point about how it's really difficult to like get it out in the world and expand the market. So the reason why we call it a theme park is that we want to start with the theme with a large fan base to begin with. So like it kind of opened up the market originally with the beginning of it, with the promotion of the theme itself. For example, like popular movie sets up or things like that. Yeah.
And for the technicality part, Jamie mentioned that it might be hard for us to develop a VR theme park, but as we can see that there is already a launch of there's already example of potential VR properties that can be turned into a theme park, and it is possible for us to create that in the near future, as it is one of our futuristic plans. So I think we probably would take 5 to 10 years to develop that.
Yeah. Great, thank you guys.
I like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, Vikas, you want to go ahead first?
So just a quick question on China and streaming. So as you know, Sony invested in Bilibili, which you mentioned, the company you mentioned a little while ago. What would you recommend to Sony specifically with regards to that Bilibili investment to increase its monetization of streaming, of game streaming?
Based on the research we have done, Sony already invested $400 million in Bilibili, and they can earn stock from Bilibili's platform. So through this cooperation, Sony can get into contact with the top Bilibili streamers, and in order to help provide possibly some subscription pricing scheme and work with the Bilibili platform in order to earn more stock revenues throughout this program and collaboration.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn it over to Jasmine.
I was quite impressed with that co-creation. I found that very interesting. But I mean, from your business plan, that's the only one that you've monetized and where there's some business case projection of 5%. But I mean, has any VR business case have you and all the other advertising and other sort of platforms that you're going to be using in China, has that been explored of how that growth projections are going to be accounted for?
Actually, we accounted our projection based on the mathematical calculation of existing video games that are created in a similar model that we see that there's 1.2 million games being created in 10 years, and it was only based on the domestic market. So when Sony launches that market, so we are using the scheme that Sony will get 30% of the download revenue from the creators that we are mentioning in the previous PowerPoint. So in this case, after mathematical calculation, each game we only need 20 downloads, and we can ensure there will be enough revenue and profit to cover all the 5% growth rate in China in this case.
And besides from the scheme that Isabella mentioned just now, it is also like the Chinese live streaming e-commerce is also a very huge potential market in which the streamer can interact with its video viewers, and then the discount codes can be used to encourage the streamers and video streaming users to purchase our products.
Yeah, so like this actually kind of answered a previous question too. I see your point about the idea of having more cost because of advertising and like investment into like the streaming things. And the thing about streaming that how it can get more successful is that the thing about streaming is you're not just selling the product itself, but the streamers are selling the game. And that's kind of the problems we identify about Sony lacking an iconic game. So that is also kind of the idea why we wanted to propose like a cloud gaming idea so that people can see the games, the innovative new games, and then stream the games they're playing using Sony consoles. And it's a whole system of connection. And although like initially it might have a higher cost of like setting a basic like template for the games, but in the end the designs of the games and the investment into Bilibili will be like returned to Sony because of all the revenue they're earning, because the game designs in the end come from the market itself. So you're essentially opening up the market to the market itself, and Sony's a mediator. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great job, team. We have 30 seconds. You had any closing statements or anything you wanted to say? No? That's all right,
Have
guys.
a nice day, guys.
Amazing, yes. Everybody go take a nap. Congratulations for making it this far. Fantastic. I'm clearly not a judge, but I thought it was lovely that you all answered. You almost all jumped in on every one of the questions, so you could really tell that you worked on all of it kind of as a team. So that was really lovely to see. So amazing. As I mentioned, so on Tuesday the 13th, we'll be announcing the winners live. You will see some information released about that very, very soon. And fingers crossed. Congratulations for making this far, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day. Have a nice day.
Right, here we go. We've got everybody connecting to audio. I think Jerry, Sean, Sophie, Che Young. I think the crew is all here. Amazing. So we'll let the judges finish up their markings for the previous team. Welcome, guys. Congratulations. You've made it this far. You're here. You did it. Really amazing. We've seen some great presentations today. We're very much looking forward to yours as well. So welcome team number 6, ID 241. So just a couple of housekeeping things. As you remember, it's the same as the regional round in that I will give you a 2-minute warning and a 30-second warning when you're approaching that 10 minutes for your presentation, right? Now, after that 10 minutes for your presentation, you'll have 7 minutes of questions and answers from the judges. And I will also give you the 2-minute and the 30-second warning there. So if you do start to go over time, I'm going to have to interrupt you, all right? I don't want to, but I'm gonna have to. So just keep an eye on that. And we will be all set to go. So give Jasmine just another few moments. So just to mention, guys, we will be announcing the global winners on Tuesday evening, right? I'll be releasing some information very soon about how you can access that. Unfortunately, we don't have the instant gratification that we had in the regional round. As you know, we're fortunate enough to have these amazing judges who are watching the presentations live. We have another round in Region 2, which is North America, Central and South America, and the EMEA region. So all the presentations are actually being judged by all 6 judges. We just couldn't do all of them live because even if we got the judges to stay up at 3 in the morning, it's just not fair to ask the students. So we've got 2 rounds going on. Really amazing. It's been so great so far. So I think we're almost there. Yasmin, Vikas, Jamie, we got a big thumbs up from all the judges. All right.
Ready.
All right, guys, I will count you down. And we will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, good luck.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are Team Genesis, and we are very pleased to present this business plan for PS5 and the future PlayStation models. Next slide. Before we get into our marketing strategies, we first have to understand the current situation of PlayStation. Since its release of PlayStation 4 back in 2013, PlayStation has sold over 113 million units, its peak sale reaching over 20 million in 2017. Since then, PlayStation has experienced an annual decrease in the sales of PS4. They also have developed a pattern of significant revenue drop on the releasing year of a new console model. Currently, the majority of the revenue consists of the sale of additional network services and subscriptions as seen in the graph. Next slide.
One of the current issues that PlayStation is facing is competition. PlayStation has fierce competition, mainly competing between two other companies, Nintendo and Xbox. According to the statistics in September 2020, PlayStation sold 113 million consoles, reaching the market share of 50%. Despite this leading position, PlayStation is vulnerable to the takeover of the market share from its competitors. Xbox has been the main competitor of PlayStation, both offering similar advanced technological features. Then, we are witnessing a sudden emergence of Nintendo Switch. As you can see in the graph, Nintendo has sold 15 million consoles in 2020, exceeding the sales of Xbox and PlayStation combined. Nintendo's convenience and portability, alongside with affordability, has created an edge over its competitors. Due to this volatile market dynamics, PlayStation has to devise a strong marketing strategy to maintain its leading position. Next slide.
Cloud gaming is a type of online gaming that runs games on remote servers and streams them directly to users' device. Currently, the market size is, as you can see in the graph, about $190 million in 2020 with a compound annual growth rate of 123%. The market is experiencing a rapid growth and is expected to grow about $5.5 billion by 2023. The graph clearly demonstrates how quickly and exponentially the market is growing from 2021. A key promise of cloud gaming is to overcome the limitations of high-end console, as users will not need to download the games, making it much more convenient to play games. Under cloud gaming, users can enjoy much richer experience by being able to play more sophisticated games, with thousands or more players in multiplayer games. Cloud gaming could enable game companies to develop games that allow players to access their accounts from anywhere, entering the same game from any device. Next slide, please.
As established above, most of the revenue for PlayStation comes from its sale of subscriptions and network services. To increase these sales, we aim to expand the online user segment. First step towards this initiative is to match the online user segment to its competition, Xbox. According to Statista, 54% of the users of PlayStation play online. Xbox, on the other hand, has 71% of its users playing online. So, our initial target is a 17% increase of the online user segment for PlayStation. To achieve this, we suggest assertive investment in Sony Interactive Entertainment to develop PlayStation Now into an advanced cloud gaming system. As cloud gaming systems require a sound international internet connection, our implementation of cloud gaming will be specific to the regions of US, Europe, and Asia. Alongside with this, we have different promotions and marketing strategies that are devised based on the region's specific trends and effective media platform. We are suggesting YouTube for US, Facebook for Europe, and esports for Asia. We have divided up to 17% of the online users among these three regions, 7% increase in the US, 5.5% increase in the Europe, and 4.5% in the increase of Asian regions. These region-specific strategies will be utilized to fulfill our target. Next slide. To maximize the number of gamers as PlayStation's customers, we need to attract both existing customers and new customers. Strategy to attract existing customers includes compensations for returning older models and providing customers with bundles of best-selling PlayStation exclusive games at a special price. These would increase existing customers' taste to convert their consoles from previous generation models. For the new customers, we offer competition discounts, whereby users with the competition products are given a special discount for the conversion to a PlayStation product. For the PC and mobile gamers, we can promote our subscription services of PlayStation Now by highlighting the cloud gaming system. To generate even more revenue from subscriptions, we can sell a bundle of all PlayStation subscriptions at a cheaper price. Next slide, please.
Sony has advanced technology on making electronics. Synergies with other Sony segments will give an advantage to technological development, especially on accessories like cameras or headphones. High-resolution cameras and full 360-degree 3D audio sound technology will be integrated in PS5. Furthermore, hardware SSD technology will increase the speed of video loading from 20 seconds to 0.26 seconds. With the collaboration with Sony Pictures, we will bring back in-game video call feature, a very popular feature of PS3. We plan to update camera, hardware, and audio technology that can be used to support the immersive virtual classroom experience, which will become a critical medium in the future of education. Exclusive virtual concerts of artists from Sony Music Entertainment will provide a special experience to PlayStation users, especially in the time of COVID-19. Next slide, please.
While advancing the global market, Sony can also enhance its brand image by following the CSR initiative. Currently, Sony is working with the UN to reduce the power consumption of PlayStation, and the estimate of saved carbon emission is almost 60 million metric tons. Like their current initiative, Sony can also work towards a new way of working for the community, donating old products to the underprivileged. Under the compensation scheme, PlayStation can acquire an inventory of older PS models to reallocate to the underprivileged communities. Through this system, we can create a win-win situation for the converting users, underprivileged communities, and the company. This initiative is another step that adheres to their mission statement of filling the world with emotion through the power of creativity and technology. Next slide.
With all the strategies and suggestions implemented, we believe PlayStation will enjoy an immense increase in their sales and revenues. We are not in place to provide revenue projections for the suggestions above, as they will be highly based on assumptions and speculations. Instead, we will be providing a more concrete additional revenue projection, which is only one of several, and I emphasize several, byproducts of the implementation of our strategy. As stated above, our target increase of online PlayStation users is 17%. The additional subscription of PlayStation Network from these users will account for 285 billion yen of additional revenue. The revenue breakdowns by region are shown on the figure. We estimated the increased online users to generate a plethora of additional revenue from purchasing game credits, accessories, and more. We anticipate the cumulative revenue projection of PS5 over the next 5 years to increase by 5% just from the additional subscription revenue. Next slide, please.
PlayStation have evolved from a mere game platform to an entertainment platform, and is further expanding its value as multi-purpose medium that affects every facet of our daily lives. The short-term future of PlayStation is the introduction of Vita Station, coming from the Latin word vita, or life, which will transform PlayStation into more of a lifestyle platform. It will include not only games but multiple entertainment such as movies, music, and television, and high-resolution video calls. Connection to daily routines like shopping, virtual doctors, and virtual classes will also be included for daily and education use. Next slide, please.
After the successful establishment of Vita Station as a viable platform of daily life activities, we will introduce a wearable Vita Station, or Vita Watch. Vita Watch will be a state-of-the-art technological advancement that will be a substitute for all electronic devices, as it will be capable of providing its users with all the features of Vita Station and more with one single watch. It will have a holographic and interactive interface with a cloud network system that connects your Vita Watch with your car, your home appliances, the internet, and even other Vita watches, once again, with one watch. PlayStation will be immersed into every facet of our daily lives. Vita Watch will be the real-life embodiment of PlayStation's slogan, "Play has no limits," since with Vita Watch, PlayStation quite literally will have no limit whatsoever. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Fantastic job, guys. Stopped right on the money. Great one. Amazing, brilliant. Okay. Jamie, Jasmine, Vikas, who has the first question? Jamie.
So on your strategy for Sony, there was discussion of telemedicine, social networking, and other kind of extensions. Within each vertical, you have quite dominant players, like for example, Zoom in video conferencing, you've got Teladoc in telemedicine. And I was wondering whether you think Sony has enough money and resources and, human talent to do all those things at the same time.
Well, Sony has, they have the technical advancements like the surround sound or the camera advances that they have in Sony electronics that they can use as a synergy with PlayStation. And as we said, as PlayStation develops into more of a lifestyle platform, people and the customer bases will increase as PlayStation will not remain as just gaming, a resource of gaming, but more of a social platform for more people to enjoy. And the virtual experience of having a surround sound and a high resolution of video calling paired with their cloud networking and a smooth relationship between the connections between users, it will have a better experience rather than calling through Zoom or other ways of telecommunications.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys.
I was just wondering, how does the Vita watch work with the PlayStation, and how does that increase the sales of that PlayStation and the hardware?
So as we said, the two last slides of short-term future or the long-term future of PlayStation is a long future that we anticipate PlayStation to be developed towards. We said that the development of PlayStation will go from a mere console for gaming to a more wide multi-purpose entertainment than to a lifestyle platform. So the main products that PlayStation will endorse will not be a gaming platform, but it's going to be a lifestyle platform, and that will transform into a single watch or an electronic device that will connect every single feature that we have presented towards in the presentation that we have today.
Okay, thanks.
I had a question on competition. So one of the first slides was on that subject, and you mentioned Nintendo and Xbox. But let's say over the next 12 months, roughly for every console sold around the world, there will be 40 smartphones sold. So about 1.5 billion, 1.6 billion, relative to about 35 to 45 million consoles. To what extent is there competition from smartphones? How did you incorporate that into your thinking? And as we head into a 5G era and cloud gaming becomes easier from phones as well, what impact will that pool of gamers have?
So we believe the reason why the markets for consoles hasn't been decreasing is because there's a unique aspect of playing console games in front of a TV with a controller. Since back in 2013, the technological advancement for cloud gaming and mobile phones, or the use of mobile phones for various activities, have been increasing every year. It does not necessarily mean that the consumer basis of PlayStation or the industry of gaming under console will decrease, because there's a unique experience and the virtual experience that gamers have from that's unique to playing PlayStation under the console itself. So we thought the competition or the consumer basis we should discuss was solely on the competition of Xbox or Nintendo, which has similar interfaces in terms of their experience, because they're all console games.
Also to add on, even though smartphones has been out and PlayStation and other console games have been out for a long time, there has been a steady and increasing sale of PlayStation and the other console games, which shows that there is a factor that is distinctive from the smartphone games that the mobile games provide. Therefore, even though the smartphone sales would increase, I do believe that there will still be a steady sale of consoles.
To add on, if a technological advancement caused an elimination of ways of activities like movie theaters, concerts, and TVs should have been long gone actually. And however, the unique experience people got from participating in activities in that setting is what draws them in, as Joey said. Then the PlayStation already has a special gaming experience with surround sound and 4K resolutions that engross players, and it is not a concern that a gamer will move away from the consoles, right?
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
Awesome. Good stuff, guys. All right, we've got about 45 seconds left. If we have either a quick question or if you guys wanted to give a final farewell, a final statement, if you wish. No? Awesome. I know that's a surprise. We didn't rehearse that one. Don't worry. No points taken off. Fantastic, guys. Brilliant. Thank you so much for your presentation and for all of your time and effort. Congratulations again on making it to the global final round. So very, very exciting, guys. As I mentioned, you will find out the global winners on Tuesday evening. We'll be releasing some information about that soon. So just for some context, guys, Region 2, which is North America, Central and South America, and EMEA, kicks off in 9 hours. So in 9 hours, the other 6 teams, so the other top 2 teams out of those 3 regions, will then come together and they will have another round of the presentation. So then we will let you know as soon as we have all of the scores together on Tuesday for a live announcement. You guys did absolutely fantastic. Congratulations for making it this far. Guys, there were over 600 teams that submitted their solutions. You know, by making it to the top 60 teams for the regional finalists, you were already in the top 10%. That is absolutely amazing. And now you're in the top 2% of 600 teams globally. That is an absolutely fantastic achievement. And we're all very proud of you already. So as far as this recording, guys, now when we come back together and we air this live, we will have the other presentation together and we'll be running right on to the second half of the global final viewing. So thank you so much. Team number 6, if you guys want to go ahead and head off, I think it's probably another time for a nap, a little bit of a celebration, do a little happy dance. You made it through, you did a great job. So thank you so much for all of your effort.
Thank you. Very pleased to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
All right, brilliant. And for everyone else, yes, we will be announcing the winners on Tuesday, but when anyone sees this, it will be the recording, it will be Tuesday. So that's very exciting. Thank you so much to everybody that's been involved. As I just mentioned, the presentations we're seeing today are the top 2% of all of the submissions that we've seen for TGCC 2020. That's super impressive. All of the students have, you know, reached a huge milestone and achievement just making it this far. So hats off to them. A big thank you finally to our principal partner, Tiger Global Management, as well as our official sponsor, PricewaterhouseCoopers. And we have been powered and backed by Crimson Education since day one, helping young people really reach their potential in every way possible. So, all right, well, we will be back. And next time we see each other, we will have a full round of presentations followed by the announcement of the winners. So, Jasmine, Vikas, Jamie, thank you so much. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday with us. We're so incredibly grateful. And we'll see you soon.
That was fun. Yeah, thank you very much.
Amazing.
See you later, guys. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.